Here's how to plant your fast plants. The first thing you need to do is check and make sure that you have all your materials. You're going to need a planter quad, 1 spoon, 1 cup of potting mix, 4 wicks, these are the wicks, 12 fertilizer pellets, 8 fast plant seeds. Notice how these are really small and dark brown, and these are lighter in color and they're bigger. 1 toothpick, 1 planter label, a Sharpie marker to write on your planter label, 1 pair of forceps, and a towel. Step 2, place 1 wick in each section of the planter quad. Use your forceps to pull the wick through the hole until the tip sticks out about 1 centimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1 wick in each section. There we go. Okay, I didn't want to go in. And then I'm going to turn the planter quad sideways, and I see this one's already all set. I'm going to use the forceps to pull the other 3 through. This might take a few tries. If you're not successful, you can also use your fingers to try to pull the quad through. Now this looks good. If I plop this back down, right down on the plate straight like that, these are going to push back up through. So here's the trick we're going to do. We're going to pretend for a second that this is an airplane and we're coming in for a landing. Okay, so I kind of came in sideways, and then the wick bottoms will stay sticking out. That's going to be important later for when we want to get water up into the fast plant quad. Step 3, fill each section of the planter quad halfway with potting mix. These sections of the planter quad are so tiny, so it's not going to take a whole lot of soil. I know you'll be careful. I'm being careful, and some soil is still getting on the plate, and that's okay. Oops. Okay, so that's about halfway. Now I'm going to go ahead. Step 4 is add 3 fertilizer pellets to each section. 1, 2, 3. What do you think the fertilizer pellets are going to do for our fast plants? Why are we putting these in here? Why do you think they'll be helpful? I'm going carefully so that I remember that I'm putting exactly 3 in each section. Fill each section of the quad to the top with potting mix. You're going to even it out and gently pat down with your fingers a little bit. Okay, you want to press down a little bit just to get it even and make sure that the soil is going everywhere and filling up the whole entire planter quad. But you don't want to press down too hard because the seed is going to need space and light fluffy soil in order to grow. Put a drop of water on your spoon. I'm going to use the pipette. Put a drop of water on my spoon. Dip your toothpick into the water. Use the wet toothpick to pick up 1 seed. We're going to place the seed just below the potting mix and cover it. Then we're going to plant a second seed in the same section in the same way. We're going to repeat until there are 2 seeds in each section of the planter. I'll show you the first section. So because there's water on the toothpick, the seed wants to stick right to it. Why do you think that is? I can always use my towel if I need to wipe off my toothpick. I'm going to wet the toothpick again, and I'm going to get a second seed. Look at the seed wants to attach right to the wet toothpick, and I'm going to put it just below the soil. I can use my toothpick to gently put a little soil on top of the seed. I'm going to do the same thing with the 3 other planter quads. Okay, step 7. Water very gently, a drop or 2 at a time, until water drips from the bottom of each wick. So I'm going to take my pipette again, and I'm going to put a little water in this quad, a little water in this section. I don't know if the camera can get in a little bit closer here. because what I can see happening is that the water is pooling on top on some of them, but eventually it starts to make its way into the soil. Try to keep your pipette out of the soil. I just got a little soil on my pipette, so I'm gonna wipe it with a towel, because what happens if the soil gets up in the pipette, it's very difficult to clean out. So you wanna keep your pipette above the soil. And I'm gonna do another swirl of swirl of water for each section of the quad. And if I lift this up, I can see that water is dripping. Is the camera getting those drips?
Mm-hmm.
So there's water dripping from the bottom of each quad, from the bottom of each wick. So when you have water coming out of the bottom of each wick, you have added enough water. Finally, you're going to write your name and today's date on the planter label and place it in the planter.